Hello and welcome to another edition of the Dashawns2cents in studio for the last time in 2013. And we really went big with the last one. We got Rick Knox here.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah. I've been trying to get this done for a long time, man. Get your schedule right.
Yeah, we've been shooting for this for quite a while. So today is the day of night one of PWG's All-Star Weekend, and I figured, hey man, let's just knock this out on the way out to the show. So
yeah, All-Star Weekend's about 3 hours away. I don't know when this will be up, but we'll talk about All-Star Weekend. All-Star Weekend 10. Maybe it's 10 All-Star Weekends now.
My goodness, crazy, it really is.
You got me red vines. Where did I put them?
I don't know. I don't know. Well, how many of them have you been to? All-Star Weekends.
This is the second one because I've been starting to go since the DT4 2012.
Okay, cool. Good deal. Now, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be neat to see Chris Hero again.
So how is it about Chris Hero returning? What was your thoughts on when you got released with NXT?
In a way, it wasn't a total shock because...
the rumors. Man.
Yeah.
The rumors were very...
Exactly. Anybody who was kind of following him and what was going on kind of knew that it just wasn't clicking there for him. They weren't really happy with the progress, or lack of progress, I should say. And so it wasn't a total shock. And while it's sad that, you know, you won't get to see him in a lot of the dream matches fans were hoping to see.
Yeah.
But hey, we'll always be glad to have him back in PWG and anywhere else on the indie scene.
Because when it happened, we were waiting for the tweet from PWG. It took about 3 hours, but by 11 o'clock, he got announced.
Yeah, in fact, if I remember right, he was the first. That was the first booking he took after he got let go.
He took Pro Wrestling Syndicate versus the Hurricane Hounds first.
Okay.
That's how I learned it, by first Syndicate.
Okay, gotcha.
A crazy promotion out in New Jersey, which Shelley works for, a lot of people work for. Kevin Matthews, and former WWE trainee, runs it.
Okay.
Who hates Bill Lamont. That's his big thing. He doesn't like Bill Lamont.
A lot of people don't like Bill.
He was cool.
He was cool to me. He was cool to me. He's very much what you get with him. In fact, my one run-in with him was kind of an incident where I basically was backstage and kind of stood in front of him to watch the monitor, which is a big no-no. I mean, you know, you got to know your place in the pecking order back there. And I swear to God, I did not even know he was standing against the wall. And literally, I kind of stood right in front of him watching the monitor, and I just kind of hear a voice in the back, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And I was like, "Oh, hey, I'm sorry." And then we were kind of cool after that.
Yeah.
You know? So he was nice, and he gave us good pointers and good tips and everything. But yeah, he kind of has a reputation of being harsh on guys.
Also, we get 10. We got the big match with Chris here with Adam Cole, man. Main event. Adam Cole coming the #1 guy. Now, it's Adam Cole again. I really took up, went on burst on the scene this year. Gotta get things right. We edit it, but we don't know how I edit it. But yeah, Adam Cole really been #1, #2, definitely now.
Oh yeah.
Really established now. So,
I mean, Adam, it's definitely a big match. My big, I guess, disappointment, or not really disappointment, but what I feel that the match is lacking is just some good build-up, and that just comes because, hey, we're taking advantage of an opportunity that was kind of dropped in our lap. One of the biggest stars the company's been throwing back at us, and now we get a chance to run with him, so why not put him in that high-profile match, which I don't dispute that, but it would have been nice if we'd have maybe had a little tease, little build-up to it. You know, not knowing...
Like Ring of Honor found out, they're doing with Adam Cole and him.
Exactly. I mean, and personally, I have no idea what PWG plans to do. I'm not part of the booking or decision-making there, but who knows, maybe this is just step one in an ongoing story that we're going to see go, I don't know.
Chris Hero booked everywhere, and it seemed like no build-up to any of his matches lately. Ring of Honor brought him in to do the end of the show for Final Battle, and built to the Cole match later on.
Well, you know, he's one of the few guys who you can actually put in a situation like that without build-up and get a lot of mileage out of it.
Him versus Gargano was a great match at Dragon Gate, which really built up, really showed that he still has what it takes to go.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't think that was ever in doubt. I think more than anything, it was just he wasn't the type of yes man that WWE tends to like, I think, in those situations, and he just didn't have the look that they want, and which sucks, I think, because I mean they're basically throwing away one aspect of a good professional wrestler for a tremendous wrestler altogether, if that makes sense.
What I think really hurt him is, I watched some of his RF video shoot, which is out on rfvideo.com, 4 hours. I don't get 4-hour shoots. We're doing an hour interview, and that's long enough for me.
Oh man, who wants to listen to me for an hour?
Yeah. Steen has a lot of interviews and stuff, so yeah, Steen here. But here I was talking about, he got signed later, but if he got signed the same time as Cesaro did, they could have been put as a team. Had he hurt by 2 months. Mrs. Cesaro, that kind of hurt the chances of King's Wrestling.
Yeah,
that's one of my things. I think King's Wrestling never happened because Hero got in later than Cesaro did.
The timing wasn't right. Yeah, I mean, at the time, it would have been nice to have seen them both go together as a package. I think their whole tag team division could have used the shot in the arm that they would have brought. But you know, you make lemonade out of lemons, and that's what Chris is doing right now. So yeah,
and we got a lot of this year's been a lot of good buys. Generico, Callahan came in, went out.
Yeah. I mean, with on our side, yeah. I mean, we've had some guys who suddenly were like brought in. Samurai Del Sol, another one who. I mean, he wrestled for PWG twice, 3 times.
All-Star Weekend. I think All-Star Weekend he just had his matches.
Yeah, a couple of times, and then the King of Flight tournament. So he didn't appear out here too often, and then he got snatched up. But good decision. I mean, the guys that they're picking and that they're selecting, they're good choices. They're solid choices.
And I just watched today NXT debut of the American Pitbull / American Woods. Very good debut.
Oh, I didn't get to see it.
Very good debut. They actually weren't that much jobbers. They had some moves in.
Cool.
Davey took a nasty bump to the head. He got dropped on his head.
Really?
So it might not be an excuse for him not going to Japan, because his head must have been ringing under that.
Well, so is he going to be there this weekend? Is he?
Yeah, he's faced in Ricochet.
He's not backed out or anything?
No, they both are in.
Because I know a lot of people are looking forward to Ricochet and Davey. That'll be pretty awesome. But
then we got Dojo Bros. Eddie and Davey, what are your thoughts about them going to WWE and their potential?
I love the fact that they're seriously being looked at, because for the longest time everyone thought that was never going to happen just because of their size. That's one of the things that tends to get lost in the mix when WWE is looking at guys is, you know, ability aside, how big are these guys? What do they look like? And I think that's hurt guys like Davey and Eddie in the past. And seeing now that they're getting a serious look, got brought into NXT, got a shot. These guys are legitimately the next version of the British Bulldogs, and I think they're catching on to that and realizing that, hey, these guys can be small, but they're going to be marketable. They're going to be awesome. So I hope they run with the ball, and I hope they use them more. Sign them, absolutely.
That'd be kind of sad to see the Dojo Bros kind of go, but we got Roddy on his own.
It is what it is. I mean, you can't hold these guys back from going to the next level. As much as us on the indie scene want to hold on to these teams and these pairings, it's just not viable. I mean, we're all in this to do it for a reason, and that's generally to get to a bigger stage.
And WWE's the main stage for everyone to go.
Exactly.
And the big question when I was interviewing you, I forgot your appearance on WWE with Christian as the lawyer. People want to know, have you been offered any by WWE? What's your deal with WWE? Have you ever...
Well, I've never really gone there under the pretense as a referee to try refereeing. Just never tried it, never really pushed for it. I've been there a handful of times as far as extra work, backstage stuff like that. Yeah. The thing with Christian literally turned out, I got asked to come in because they wanted someone who basically had a suit and someone who could take a bump.
Yeah.
Because the plan initially called for me to get RKO'd and I think a few other people, and the segments at WWE, a lot of people don't realize this, get written and rewritten literally up until the last second. And so we did the one segment the one night. The next night we were going to do another segment, and I was going to accompany Christian to the ring. Literally, as the music's playing and we're about to walk out the curtain, they said, you know what, we're not going to send a lawyer with him this time. Hold on. Oh, okay, no big deal. And, it just kind of led to one of those things. We're still going to use you. We're going to fly you out next week back east to Stamford, and, we're still going to use you. Okay, awesome. And then nothing ever came. No emails, no calls. So I called them back and said, where's my plane ticket? And they said, you know what, got rewritten. We're not going to have the lawyer in the segment. So it is what it is. I mean, it was fun while, it happened. But,
same thing as Ciampa when he was Power Driver at Undertaker. He was supposed to be written in more storylines. Never got the call back.
Never happens, So you try not to be bitter about it. You just roll with it and just take it for what it was, which was a fun, awesome opportunity, and it got me a lot of exposure.
So we went off a tangent, but people want to know how you got into reffing. What was your inspiration to get into reffing?
I guess how I got into it basically was literally, I had been a big wrestling fan growing up, and I'm kind of a little bit older than most guys in the scene that I'm involved with right now. I just turned 20 last week. Well, multiply that and add about 5 or 6 years, or double that, I should say.
Yeah.
But so I was a big fan in the 80s, and had I maybe been more serious about it then, I would have gotten involved then, but I really didn't. I actually didn't get involved refereeing until I kind of dropped out of the wrestling scene and got back involved in the 90s. and literally found a newspaper article about the School of Hard Knocks in San Bernardino. And at the time was run by two guys, Billy Anderson and Jesse Hernandez. And to this day, Jesse still runs the school. It's still in existence. It's not in the cool old building on East Street that it used to be, but it's still there.
Longest running school in SoCal. Longest running school.
Yeah, I mean, it's been there for quite a while, and a lot of good talents come out of there, but not to digress, but I basically hooked up with them, started going to their school, and I knew that, hey, seeing what these guys did, I couldn't be a wrestler, and I really didn't want to be a wrestler, and I had done the backyard thing in the 80s, and my knees were thrashed, my neck was thrashed.
There was backyard wrestling in the 80s?
There was, but it was actually before it was called backyard wrestling. In fact, it was just, we just called it our fights, our matches, you know, we had no name for it.
What was your name back then?
I didn't really have it was just Rick Knox is all it really was, but, and yes, there is video of it. I don't know if it's out on YouTube, but maybe I'll put a compilation.
Yeah, backyard wrestling,
just to see some of the silly stuff that caused me much pain later in life.
Is that how you learned your moves, the dives?
I learned how not to do the moves, because I mean, if I watch these matches now, they're horrible. They are so bad. I mean, just locking up and stuff like that, it's like, wow, did not know one thing what we were doing. I'm surprised I'm walking to this day with how stupid we were. But, so I knew I really didn't want to be a wrestler, but I wanted to be involved. Didn't really want to be a manager, because the manager is just, he talks a lot, but doesn't really get physically involved too much. I wanted to do something in the ring, so I figured, why not be a referee? Jesse was one of the old WWF referees whenever they came out here to California and Texas, stuff like that. So I learned a lot from him. That was basically how I got involved. And after doing a lot of practice matches there in the school, the wrestlers started saying, you need to be on the shows, come to the shows, get on the shows, and it just kind of blew up from there.
What was your first promotion you ref for?
Yeah, that would have been the EWF, which was the home promotion for the School of Hard Knocks.
What was your first match you remember reffing?
First match itself, I believe, if I remember right, would have been Sun Warrior versus Ricky Reyes. And Ricky Reyes still wrestles to this day.
Still wrestles. The Pitbulls with Rocky Romero. Yeah.
Yep. And
he was looked at by WWE. He was at a couple of tryouts. So
yeah, he's had tryouts there. He's been to Japan. He's been all over the world. Big in Puerto Rico.
I think he's with popping on like ECWA. That's where most of
exactly. Yeah, he's basically based out of the Northeast now.
See, useless knowledge right here. Facebook all the time. See about these people.
That's it.
And I do run on Facebook. I see the rest of the time.
The Sun Warrior, the other young guy who was in that first match, is actually a Hollywood actor now, Sonny Aon. You can look him up on Facebook as well. But he was in. He's been in the show with Hilary Swank, where she was the teacher of that movie, and he's also on the HBO show Hey Ladies. Has some parts in that. He's all over the place, and got out of wrestling, but I still talk with him, and haven't talked with Reyes in a while. But that would have been my first match. My first show, I actually got bumped like 3 times, if I remember right. So yeah, it was.
What was your first year reffing? What was the year that you started?
This would have been 90. In front of a paying audience, a real show, it would have been 98, I believe.
So you started reffing full time.
That was when I pretty much started doing it. That first couple years was probably basically just with the EWF and maybe a handful of other promotions that we'd get booked through the EWF for. Then after like 99, 2000, I branched out and started going to like UPW, where you kind of refined a lot of what we were learning at the School of Hard Knocks.
How was that scene back then with like Daniels and Joe and Kazarian and all them? It's like a dream class nowadays when you look back.
Yeah,
those guys are like.
Yeah, John Cena. I mean, a lot of these guys were
the prototype.
Yeah, the prototype. I mean, it's kind of funny when you think about how silly some of the gimmicks were back then and stuff, but. I mean, look at that roster now. It's just loaded with guys who are stars today, which is a testament to the scene altogether. I mean, back then, too, it was a little more divided as it is now. I mean, it's not so much that long ago, but if you really think about it, you kind of had the School of Hard Knocks crew. They kind of did their own thing. You kind of had, like, the Rev Pro crew, and they kind of did their own thing. Hard Knocks and EWF kind of fed into UPW. Rev Pro kind of fed into XPW. And you kind of were separate. They really didn't cross over too much, and it wasn't until probably around 2000 or so when you had like MPW, Millennium Pro probably ran.
That's kind of like what Scott was talking about on the Kevin Steen show, and like I really want to get more into that because it's interesting. Like I started getting the scene was 2012, so it's like, and hearing about the old days is kind of cool. Hearing about all them.
Well, it was so divided. Put it this way: you had promotions at the time who actually forbid their guys from working other promotions.
Yeah.
If you were a UPW guy, you could not work MPW. You know, it was a big no-no. But you had a lot of guys who said and just crossed the line and did it anyways. You know. and it just made the scene better. So good things came of it, but bad things came of it too.
Good things came of it, PWG, because those guys weren't getting booked.
No, absolutely, and they you know, we're tired of all the BS and the politics. That's why those 6 original guys started that Fed to.
How'd you get into PWG? What happened?
I actually just got approached, I think, by Joey Ryan, when the show was first being formed, and they didn't even have a name for the group or anything. It's like, hey, we're going to do a show. It's just going to be a one-time deal.
Yeah.
Will you be the ref? And
it's weird now to say one-time deal when it's like, now it's like a promotion
10 years
from Germany,
later,
now people everywhere. So yeah, Joey, go on.
But yeah, it's just amazing what it blew up into, because it literally was just supposed to be a one-shot deal, but it was received so well and did so good that they kept coming back, and here it is 10.5 years later, and I don't know what the show count is now, but we got to be getting close to 200 at this point.
It's like 140 something.
Is it really?
I think 148, something like that.
Wow. Yeah, it's getting up there, but.
How was the hype? Was there hype for the show when it was coming around, when the show day was getting closer?
Yeah, there was. In fact, there was a lot of hype. If I remember right, the main event was promoted as Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles. That was what the main event was supposed to be, but then Joe was injured. And I don't know if this was announced prior to the show or if this was announced at the show, but I remember Joe coming out in the sling and basically telling the fans, you know, sorry guys, can't wrestle. Yeah. My replacement's Frankie Kazarian, and Frankie and AJ had a real strong match that first show. It was the first time I'd ever met and worked with AJ, so that was really cool for me.
Let's get off on AJ now. He's officially a free agent now. Thoughts on being a free agent?
I hope we see him over here. I mean, personally, I've always thought he's one of the top 2 or 3 wrestlers in the world. I mean, I've always thought that. And any critics of his or naysayers of his just haven't really opened their eyes to what he can do.
Watch him versus Daniel, same versus Joe. It's amazing work.
Oh, even his stuff in PWG. A lot of the guys who were like TNA guys and stuff like that, when they would come to PWG, especially in those early first couple of years, kind of had a bad rap of mailing it in at PWG, stuff like that. AJ never did. I thought he always gave 100% no matter whether we were in front of 500 fans or 5 fans. And he's just such a class act. When we went to Europe, it was basically me, Frankie, and him who were partnered together for a good portion of the trip and stayed together and ate together and all that. And then I didn't get to see AJ for like a long time after that. And then he was doing an autograph signing at Frankensons or something. And he just kind of came back while we were doing a show there and sought me out. And you know, just the fact that he remembered me, came and pointed me out, got me out, and gave me a big hug. I was like, that was kind of cool. I thought, this, you know, it's always just a neat feeling when these guys remember you by your face. And it definitely was cool. So I hope we get to see him out here again, whether it's PWG, anyone.
CZW next year. 14th anniversary show. It's weird to say. CZW's been around that long.
That's another one. Who would have thought? You know, who would have thought?
Yeah, people jumping off like stuff, barbed wire, Nick Gage, and people robbing banks.
You know,
robbing banks.
You know, I almost. You know, someone should do a documentary on CZW, a full-on, awesome, badass, true-to-life documentary, because it would be a pretty interesting story, and then just to hear the list of the guys who aren't with us anymore and stuff like that.
Yeah, like Trent Acid was one of the guys.
Yeah, he was another one. Trent was very cool. He worked out here a handful of times too, so I got to know him a little bit. Yeah, that was.
Sick Nick Mondo returned Saturday at KDOC, which was pretty close.
Yeah.
Had to look him up because I'm a CZW fan. I've been watching it for the past couple of years. I watched it when Willie was on Best of the Best.
How'd that go?
It looked good. The comedy match was very excellent. And I think it was Alex Colon, the other guy, had grape soda involved and things.
Cool. Good.
So back early as 03, like the first show, was really good, but you guys went a little too long, and you guys weren't allowed at Frankenstein's. Yeah.
Well,
because I watched all of 03, even though I've heard it's shit, but I enjoyed 03. I downloaded a pack from. I don't think it was. I downloaded it. I got DVDs somehow. I got somehow. Yeah, I got a Noah guy. So I watched all of 03, and I enjoyed it. Some matches weren't all right, weren't good. But the commentary is fun. I enjoy the commentary.
Yeah, the commentary kind of made it fun. In those old days, the DVDs, if you bought the DVDs, the commentary was like a bonus track. So you could like watch the match and like you were there, and then you could go back watch it again with the commentary. Because you would have to do that because sometimes the commentary was pretty damn funny, and you would miss a lot of the action because you were focusing on what Disco and Excalibur were saying.
Arm drag.
Oh yeah,
and they had the shots and their arm drag.
Game, yeah.
What are your favorite memories from like the first year that stick out to you?
Let's see, that first year, I definitely like, some of those old venues were fun. You know, that first show was done in Frank and Sons, which was, I think, the only PWG show we ever did there. AWS used to run there all the time.
I didn't know it was the second day of the tournament for the championship was held there.
That's right, that's right. So there were actually 2 done at Frank and Sons, yeah.
No more shows at Frank and Sons anymore. That's
yeah,
wish I would have gone to that venue, but I didn't go to the show with Paul London that was there last year.
Yeah, you know, that whole nother side tangent, but Frank and Sons was very cool. For you don't know what Frank and Sons is. Frank and Sons is basically a big giant warehouse about 20 miles east of LA that houses a big swap meet for collectible vendors as far as like comic books, toys, baseball cards, all that memorabilia. We used to be able to run wrestling shows in there. AWS, local promotion run by Bart Kapiski, used to run monthly shows there.
Okay, Bart, this is the first part will be PWG, then we'll go to Bart next. Yeah, AWS, PWG. Yeah, he doesn't like, what was that? I don't know, he's going
a little back reversal there.
Yeah.
Screech.
Dashawns2cents for random, we go all over. Learned from the man, Kevin Steen, who I've taken his no shoe policy and stuff. A lot of these Kevin Steen, Cole Cabana, all of them together. Really good inspirational guys to learn from. Watch a lot of Cole Cabana, Art Wrestling, Kevin Steen show, and you learn a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what you gotta do. I mean, even, no matter what you're doing, you know, you gotta look to whoever inspires you and take what you can from them. I mean, even as a referee, there's referees.
You watch Earl Hebner tapes?
No, not so much Earl Hebner, not really.
It's the only referee I really know. Earl Hebner,
my issue, I'll name you a few here. My issue with Earl Hebner is I never thought his near falls were very believable. Meaning when it was going to be a close 3 count, you could always tell that it was going to be that they were going to kick out. Yeah. They were never very believable in my opinion. Yeah. The guys who I liked kind of growing up and watching them as far as referees in the NWA, Tommy Young was huge. I liked Tommy Young, but I thought he kind of sometimes oversold a little bit. I liked in World Class, I liked David Manning, but I thought that he tended to maybe put himself over in the matches a little bit too much. But my all-time favorite is probably an old-timer out of the LA territory, Red Shoes Dugan. Okay. Last time I saw him referee would have been WrestleMania 2. He was a referee for the Hercules Hernandez Steamboat match at the LA Sports Arena, and they let him referee that match. And it's kind of cool too. If you actually watch the live feed of WrestleMania 2, which I have on tape I taped it, you know, when it was on at the time back in '85 or '86. At the beginning of the main event, which was Hogan and Bundy at the LA Sports Arena, the guy is carrying the cage out to the ring. It gives you a good shot of him. It's Billy Anderson, Jesse Hernandez, and Louis Spicolli. So it's kind of cool to see a little bit of wrestling history there.
See, that's when we'll end part 1. Just the camera gets hot. See you back part 2.